Whoever invented the concept of a credit score is genius. Think about it. A credit score is a way for us to police ourselves so no one else has to do it. Think about it. If we didn't have a credit score, nobody would give a damn about paying their bills. If you didn't have a credit score, you would be like, nah, man, I'm not paying you, bro. So somebody somewhere said, you know what? Let's come up with a credit score. And every time you pay it and do what's right and make your payments on time, will increase your score. And every time you mess up, will lower your score. And this creditworthiness concept, if you do good, you can get more, because we always feed people consume, consumption. So what happens? Now you're policing yourself. You're like, oh man, if I get this thing, I need to make sure I can make this minimum payment, because if I make this minimum payment, I can satisfy the creditors and it won't negatively impact my credit score. So credit is genius. It's like a self-policing mechanism. Now as a creditor, I don't have to beat down your head to get my money back, because most likely you're going to be so concerned with preserving your credit score that you're going to pay me my money and give me my chips with interest that, what I need. So let's talk about credit. Last week I did a video talking about changes that are going to be implemented with regard to reporting to the big three credit bureau. And at some point in time on this channel, I probably talked about, or y'all probably seen a video about, when I went from never using credit cards at all to I tried it for the cashback rewards. Now I just full-blown use credit cards for everything. Last year I got back almost $2,000 in cashback rewards. I pay it off every month. But I thought about it and I never did a video just kind of explaining how credit works and explaining why I will never hit the magic 800 number of a credit score. Now when we're talking about credit scores, it's a road that's been far traveled for me. I remember when my credit was in the 500s. Now it's like this 70, high 7 or something like that. But trust me, I remember when my credit score was really terrible to where it's gotten now, and it was a process. I didn't use any credit repair thing. I'm gonna give my opinion and take on that. But let's dive in, talk a little bit about credit. Let's get it. What's going on? I'm Marcus. You're at the channel The Debt Free Dad, where we're talking about finances, and we're also following my family's journey to become first generation millionaires. Hey, y'all know I'm a proponent of using credit cards. I'm a proponent of paying it off every month, and I'm damn sure a proponent of getting the cash back rewards. But today's video is going to be different. We're going to just go over the fundamentals of your credit score, how to increase your credit score, and if you should use a credit repair service to help out your credit. I know, like I said in the beginning off the break, hey, I've been everywhere from the low 500s to the high 700s, and I, just had to figure it out, learning through trial, error, learning through not paying, learning through missed payments, learning through getting notices to go to court because I didn't pay some bills. Your boy been through it all. When it comes to your credit score, there are 5 things that are important and that are key factors with determining how your credit is, what your credit score is. The first and most important thing is payment history. Your payment history is exactly what it is. How often do you pay your bills on time? Delinquent payments currently stay on your credit report for 7 years, but like I said in the video, that's about to change, where delinquent payments are going to only stay on your credit report for 4 years. But payment history accounts for 35% of your credit score, and the reason it's so important is because the amount of time that those delinquencies actually stay on your credit report. You can have a bad year and miss 5 payments, but those 5 missed payments will stay on your credit report for years and ultimately impact your score negatively. So you always want to make sure that you actually are paying your bills on time. Now, the way the payment history works, they give you ranges of dates. So if I miss a payment and I'm 35 days of late, that gives me a negative impact. If I miss a payment and I'm more than 90 days late, that gives me a big ass negative impact. So it does depend on how long or how late that payment was to determine the actual impact. But hey, payment history accounts for 35%. So if you can't pay your bills on time, there's no way you can have a strong credit score, because it's just too big of a percentage of your credit score, and it stays on your credit score for a long time. The next most important thing with regard to your credit score is your amount owed, or your credit card utilization. Essentially what credit card utilization is It looks at the total amount of credit that you have out there to potentially use, and they compare that to what you actually use. Let's explain credit utilization and how it works. If you have an overall amount of credit available amongst three cards of $30,000, right? So you got $30,000, $10,000 each card. If you have $10,000 of debt on your credit card, you are effectively using 33% of your current credit limit. You got a $30,000 credit limit, you got $10,000 of credit card debt, you're using 33%. So how utilization works is the goal is to keep your credit utilization under 30%. Some people say they want to keep it under 10%, but a lot of times what you'll see if you do some open source research, keeping your credit utilization under 30% is probably a good thing. If you can get it to that 15 to 10%, that's going to be optimal. But your credit utilization accounts for 30% of your overall credit score. So again, payment history, big time influence on your credit score, and credit utilization. If you got $30,000 worth of available credit and you owe $25,000 because you have $25,000 worth of debt amongst your credit cards, your credit utilization is going to be terrible. You have very small amount of credit available, but you have a large amount of debt, so your score is going to drop dramatically. So, hey, credit utilization is definitely a big impact. The next thing is your credit history. Your credit history is essentially how long have you had accounts open. Like most people, if you're like me, I got my first card. It was a Discover card too, which is terrible that I still have. I don't use it, but I still have it. And I got that card when I was probably 18 in college. I never forget, they were all gathered inside of the common area at the main building on campus, and they were giving away like a $20 gift card, a free water bottle, and a t-shirt. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go get my $20 gift card. That's going to be dinner tonight when I go to the carryout and get some wings and fries. So wings and fries led me to a sea of debt. So your credit history starts from the first time you open an account and how long you keep that account open. So if you have accounts that are in good standing with a utilization is 30% or less, and they've been open for years, your credit history is going to be great because you have a historical pattern of maintaining a good relationship with your creditors and keeping your credit cards in good standing. But like I said, your credit history accounts for 15% of your overall credit score. Next is your credit mix. Your credit mix is essentially the different mechanisms of credit that you have available to you. Some people have auto loans, some people have student loans, mortgages, credit cards. Some people may have a home equity line of credit, but your credit mix is all the various ways that you have credit available for you to use at your disposal. Me personally, I just have a mortgage and a student loan. I guess I have, a credit card, but I don't really count that because I pay it off every month, so it's never really something that has a balance on it, so to speak. It may be a balance on it for a short time, but I'll pay it off and it'll disappear. But your credit mix is just essentially the diversity of credit that you have available at your disposal. So the more, the better, but for me, the less, the better. That's just kind of how it works. And the last thing that impacts your credit score is the amount of credit inquiries that you have when you open a new line of credit. So every time you open a new line of credit, essentially an inquiry is done. The question is whether it's a soft inquiry or hard inquiry. A soft inquiry generally doesn't impact your credit score. Soft inquiries may be credit checks related to jobs, which if y'all seen my last video, are going to be kind of turning obsolete. But soft inquiries are inquiries that don't really go towards the lending of a specific money or opening an account so you can have credit at your disposal. Hard inquiries go to where, hey, somebody's about to give you some money and they want to make sure that you're not irresponsible and you're going to pay them back. So hard inquiries may be applying for a mortgage, applying for a car loan, applying for a credit card, applying for a line of credit at a department store or something to that effect. Those are what impact your credit score when it relates to inquiries, and that accounts for 10%. So again, I've had a credit score of a 520, which was crazy, and I had a credit score right now probably like the high 700, 780 or something like that. I don't think I can ever meet the magical 500 500. Hell no. I don't think I can ever meet the magical 800 credit score. So let's put it into context. And I think, first of all, I'm not one of those people who say don't have credit. I think credit is good to have. You just have to use it responsibly and make choices that are smart and informed decisions with the credit, right? So I'm a proponent of credit cards. Y'all already know I got videos. I'm gonna put out one probably later on this week about the amount of rewards I got for the first half of the calendar year. All of that stuff is dope. But the one thing that, will keep me from reaching that magical 800 number of a credit score is because I paid my credit card balance off. I actually looked at my credit card. I got a notice saying your credit score went up by 40 points. And I was like, damn, my credit score went up by 40 points? Why did it go up by 40 points? My credit score increased by 40 points, not because I paid a substantial payment on my student loan, not because I paid extra on the mortgage. It went up 40 points because I charged like $3,000 on my credit card and it was showing and being reported. So the problem for me is my utilization is a little too low because I don't use the cards. I do have a credit mix, but it's not really a good mix. I only got maybe 3 credit cards. I don't have any car note. So I think those are the things that are keeping me from that elusive 800 credit score. I tell you, I really don't give a damn about an 800 credit score. How I would use it, and this is just what I would do. I know my credit score fluctuates between, it could be a 780, depending on when it's being reported, anywhere to a 720. I know that putting some additional charges on my credit card because I never carry a balance will push my credit limit up. So in the event, if I was applying for a mortgage or something to that effect, or I wanted to get a car loan, even though I'm not a proponent of car loans, but if I did want to get one, what I would probably do is I would probably make some purchases on my credit card to show that, hey, I do have some utilization. I actually use this card to push my credit score up higher to see if I could get a much lower APR on whatever the mortgage or whatever the car loan that I'm getting. Once I get that secured, I'll go ahead and do what I always do, pay that credit card off, and now I got the lowest rate possible, somewhere 2.9, 2.5, 3%, something like that. But that's why I'll never hit the elusive 800. And honestly, I don't think you need an 800 to be able to maneuver and do what you need to do. At the end of the day, credit is how nice you play with lenders. Are you playing along nice with lenders? The last thing I wanted to talk about is credit repair. A lot of people are credit repair specialists. You pay them X amount of dollars and they'll work your credit for you, get delinquent things removed, negotiate some things. And so the question often that I get is this something I should take advantage of? I actually had one of my good friends from high school reach out to me and ask, and this is kind of my view on it. My credit was terrible in the low 500s, and now it's in the high 700s, and I didn't go through a credit restoration service. I did it the old-fashioned way. I actually looked, researched, found out what I could do, what I couldn't do, found out how to negotiate with creditors. A lot of times if you're delinquent and you pass your final notice or it's before litigation or even up into litigation, you have an opportunity to actually negotiate with creditors. So I did open source research, found out when I can negotiate with creditors, the best time to negotiate with creditors, what are some good negotiation tactics, because a lot of these people are willing to settle for pennies on the dollar, maybe 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. So it really depends. I know my homegirl told me that the credit restoration service she was going to go was something like $1,200 to do all of this stuff. Now, for me personally, I'm not willing to pay $1,000 to have people negotiate things on my behalf or to have people challenge things on my credit that are improper and shouldn't be there. That's time that I'll take out on my own to do it to save $1,000. But for some people, not having to deal with it is worth the $1,000. So that's a decision that you got to make based on your facts and circumstances. For me, I did the legwork on my own to get my credit improved and get it where I wanted it to be. So I really didn't see the need to pay somebody, $1,500 or $1,000 to do things that I could already do. That's it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely enjoy the video on the screen. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Peace.